Our marriage counselor hates my husband and recommends I make a get-out plan. I feel so lost. Hi everyone. I'm feeling really overwhelmed and unsure of what to do, and I just need a place to let this out and hopefully get some advice or support. Today I had a one-on-one session with our marriage counselor. My husband, 26M, and I, 23F, have been in counseling for over a year now. This is actually our second time in counseling together. The first was before we got married because we both grew up seeing toxic marriages and wanted to start ours on a healthier path, with better tools and support. We've been back in counseling because things have been hard, especially after becoming parents. In today's session, the counselor had a very serious talk with me. He said he suspects my husband may be a covert narcissist. He was clear that he cannot diagnose him, but based on what he has observed, he believes it is something worth considering and strongly urged me to make a get-out plan. He did indeed say something like my husband was the type of guy he'd personally hate and that he would not even treat a hookup like my husband treats me. He also said that if I feel it is right to continue counseling together, he is more than willing to keep supporting us. I just do not know what the right decision is anymore. The truth is that many of the bigger issues in our marriage are things we have been working on very diligently. My husband lost his job while I was pregnant because he was caught stealing from his workplace. Since then, he has stayed home with our daughter while I have worked 2 jobs. The stress and burnout from that imbalance have been really hard on me, but it is something we've been actively addressing. Or at least I believe we have been. My husband also had a corn addiction early in our relationship. That is something we have worked through, and although it has not come up again, the emotional effects still linger sometimes. Honestly, the hardest part of this issue is I still have no self-esteem and I haven't liked my body since. But I do trust he hasn't been watching/buying it anymore. His family has always had a strong dislike for me as well, and this is something we have been working on in counseling. His mother has tried to hit me, they have been very awful to me, and they constantly disregard boundaries I try to set. At one point, I was made to eat alone in the dining room while everyone else ate together in the living room because my MIL didn't want me to make a mess, which had never happened before. I was also mocked for giving them Christmas gifts when my husband and I were first dating and told I was only doing it to suck up to them. 2 incidents over the years, but something to give an idea of the relationship there. But more recently, my husband has started setting clearer boundaries with them. He has been making an effort to support me more and to protect our peace as a family. Day-to-day life has honestly improved in a lot of ways. We work well as parents, we do not yell, fights are a minimum now and never around our baby, and our daughter is thriving in our current setup. I am in school, and things feel more stable than they were this time last year. But despite all the progress, the emotional and romantic side of our relationship is still missing. That is the part that hurts the most right now. I am someone who shows and receives love through thoughtful gestures, words, and romance. Over time, my husband has just stopped showing up for me in those ways. I had surgery recently, and the only thing I asked for was a small bouquet of flowers afterward. He did not get them. He just made excuses. I felt completely dismissed and uncared for. This has been the most painful part of our marriage lately. It feels like I am the only one trying to keep the emotional connection alive. And while I know I deserve more than I am receiving, part of me feels like this issue is not big enough to justify ending a marriage over. But it is big to me. It is not just about flowers. It is about feeling loved and seen. So now I feel torn. Our counselor cannot diagnose my husband, but he suspects narcissistic traits. Could he be right? I honestly do not know. I just know that the idea has left me feeling shaken and confused, because it lines up with feelings I have tried to ignore for a long time. Our current situation has been working for the most part, but is sacrificing a lot of my energy and stressing me out. It just feels all on my shoulders and falling apart, even if things are okay for the most part. So I guess not so okay, but I just can't push harder for change than I have already. I don't know if I'm making sense or explaining this all well. I do not know if I should keep trying or begin preparing myself for something harder. We have made it through so much, and part of me still has hope. But I am also emotionally tired. I feel like I am carrying the weight of our relationship on my own, and I do not know how much longer I can do that. Divorce just seems so scary. I am still healing from a surgery right now and know I will need a few more surgeries before the year is over because I'm also medically not doing well. I'm just so incredibly stressed and overwhelmed right now. If anyone has been through something similar or has advice, I would really appreciate hearing your thoughts. I am having a very hard time with everything, not just this marriage.
Relevant comments. Unbelievable fidelity. Should have a trigger warning for your husband being a total fucking loser. Like, girl. Come on. You're far too young to have to deal with all of this shit coming from your literal life partner. Substantial_shoe_360. My mom's marriage counselor told her to leave my donor. She stayed for 10 more years, he never changed. The only reason he left was because he couldn't get his hands on my insurance settlement. I'm so thankful that my mom met my stepdad and he was 1,000 times better than my donor. OK_gummyworm. My therapist suggested I make an exit plan to escape my ex with a severe personality disorder. I didn't listen and I stayed a few extra months. Now I have CPTSD and need trauma therapy to work through the nightmares. Don't be like me in substantial shoes, mom. Leave before it gets too bad. OP. Detour_Tohel 243. Same. My mom's family therapist told her to leave my father off the record. She didn't like most. Until 10 years later when he put her in the hospital and almost ended her. Then family stepped in and ended the relationship. You have a child now. Your feelings don't matter anymore. Your little love fest doesn't matter. Your therapist is telling you from years of experience to leave. Wake up, OP.